So now I take this opportunity and to introduce our esteemed speaker today. And sir, thank you very much for accepting our invite. So Dr. S. Gautam joined DARC through its prestigious training school program in 1994. Dr. Gautam did PhD from University of Mumbai in 2004 and postdoctoral research at UMDA, New Jersey, USA in 2005 to 2007. Dr. Gautam has contributed significantly in the basic and applied research related to food science and technology, where he has worked extensively on the deployment of radiation technology for ensuring food security, food safety, and promote international trade. He has developed various technologies in this area of research and transferred to industries for its commercialization. He has also patent to his credit. His contributions have resulted in many awards to his credit, such as prestigious DAE Homi Bhabha Science and Technology Award in the year 2016, as well as DAE Group Achievement Award twice in the year 2009 and 2011. Currently, Dr. Gautam is also serving as a member of scientific panel on fruits and vegetables and their products with FSSAI, Government of India, as well as panel member in BIS. Earlier also, he has served as chairperson of scientific panel as well as member scientific committee FSSAI. Dr. Gautam is the fellow of Maharashtra Academy of Sciences. Currently, Dr. Gautam is serving as head Food Science and Safety Section at Food Technology Division BARC and also holds adjunct position of professor at the Homi Bhabha National Institute, Mumbai. Dr. Gautam has more than 100 publications in peer-reviewed journals and books, besides many abstracts and reports in conferences. So with this great background, we look forward to hearing to you, Dr. Gautam, and I hand over the floor to you.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Nele, for this introduction, and I really congratulate you and your team to taking care of this small and medium business, because that is the need of the day to day. And after this pandemic, another thing, this type of businesses are being affected drastically. And in that case, such a starting a chamber, you have done a very good, I will tell, service to the society. So I congratulate you, Dr. Lele. And I also, I'm very happy to see my peers like Dr. Bari and Dr. Bandekar to be in the audience, actually, who actually we have grown in their guidance and who actually taken this food irradiation program to the level the country today has. I'm too happy to see Dr. Pankaj, who we have interaction earlier, and many more dignitaries which I cannot name here, but I have a due respect for all of them, and I'm really pleased to be joining you and share what has been done at the BRC, primarily in the area of food science and technology. DAE is primarily focused on the application of, you can say, nuclear energy for the different application, starting from a strategic activity to many other, and peaceful application of nuclear energy was the dream of our pioneers, Dr. Bhabha, who conceptualized, and basically the program started somewhere very early in 1967 when we have the first food irradiation plant established in the country, and from there the journey started. And by contribution of all our seniors, it has led to the situation, or you can say the status, where food irradiation is going to be one of the well-used technology in the country in the years to come, with a lot of applications. So I will share the findings of the scientists carried out at BRC earlier, and also our current colleagues which are working, and we see suggestions or guidance from you people how to take the food irradiation program ahead, which a lot of potential in the country. So with this, I request your permission. Can I start my presentation? Yeah.
Sure. You can share screen also, sir. We are not seeing.
Sure. Yeah. So I have selected the topic of my talk, that irradiation, upcoming food production technology, opportunity and challenge. I want to debate, or we can say put my view on the title why I have selected this. This is really surprised to tell it is upcoming food irradiation technology, because if you see the history, it is one of the oldest technology. In the 1905, the first patent was granted on the food irradiation, and 1957, the first food irradiation commercial plant on commission in Germany. Having all those things, still we are telling it upcoming food preservation technology. And primary concern is basically the name. Sometimes we tell the name makes a lot of difference. So when the radiation term was introduced, was the part of this whole technology, somehow that has, I will say, dragged this progress the way it should have. But as the education is increasing, people are becoming aware of the things. Names should not matter too much. We should go on the fundamentals of the thing, how actually any technology being used, what is the working principle, what is the science behind that, and then on that basis we should select the usefulness or rejection of any technology. And then what all opportunities irradiation technology provides, I will share some of them, and what challenges still exist for all of us to look into that. Yeah. So I think all of we must be aware of what is food irradiation, but just for the if some yeah, but just to say like if somebody is not aware of that, just for them, like so if you expose food to the ionizing radiation, I will tell what all this further to achieve different objectives. I am coming to all those points to reduce the post-harvest losses. So post-harvest losses of food. So this is basically a process of exposing food, and this is the plant which I discussed, was gifted to Bhabha by one of his friend in Canada, and this plant was established in Food Technology Division BRC in 1967, where I remember like Dr. Vandekar and Dr. Warrior, they have worked a lot on using this facility, and still the plant is functional. We all are working. This has become our main facility where most of the R&D has been carried out at BRC, leading to the success, or you can say establishment of this technology in the country. Now coming to the approved radiation sources, when we talk about the radiation, you cannot use any radiation for the food irradiation applications. It has been, there are certain restrictions or limitations for the region having science behind that. FAO, IEA, and WHO, they have recommended further codex only 4 sources for radiation processing. I will tell what is the reason for that. 2 are radioisotopes, cobalt-60 and cesium-137, and then X-ray at certain energy level below 7.5 MeV, and electrons at 10 MeV. Why so? You can always ask what is the reason? Why only these 4 sources are approved? Why not others? But talk about the cobalt-60 and cesium-137. Their radiation energy or photon energy is not that high that it will reach to the nuclei and destabilize and make the food radioactive. Many times when we talk about the radiation, people have the concern, okay, irradiated food become radioactive. So these sources have been approved because their photon energy is very well less. I will tell you the values further, but it so that it cannot reach to the nuclei of the atom and make it radioactive. Coming to the X-rays, since X-rays are produced by bombarding electron and heavy metal under vacuum condition, then the conversion efficiency is very, when X-rays are produced, you don't have the discrete energy levels, you get a range of the energy level. So that's why for X-rays, maximum permissive level or energy level has been kept at 7.5 MeV. Many countries have 5 MeV also as approval, but maximum cap is 7.5 MeV. Coming to electrons, you know, the charged particle, that's why the penetration is the issue. So you cannot penetrate deep into the to the nuclei level. So that's why the energy level has kept at the 10 MeV level. So these are the reasons why only these 4 sources have been approved. And it is not in the India, but it has been approved across the world. All the countries whosoever are dealing with radiation, food irradiation, they have to comply with this. Now coming to this radiation sources, we use like cobalt-60, I told. This is the most of the food irradiation plant in the country today based on cobalt-60. This average energy level, it gives 2 photons upon 1.17 and 1.33 MeV. So average energy 1.25 MeV, and its half-life is close to 5.26 years. The right panel, you can see the schematic view of the cobalt-60 food irradiation plant. Literally, it's a very simple machinery, but you can see you have the loading area where you, through conveyor you send your food materials, then your radiation sources is kept in the water as a shielding material inside. And through control panel, source is raised when the food is roaming around the radiation sources, and then it comes out. And whatever the energy you want to deposit, accordingly fix your time. That depends on the source strength and the radioisotope also. On that basis, you decide the energy, how much you want to give, and then your sample is irradiated and the sample is taken out. And everything well controlled through the control panel outside the radiation chamber. Now coming to the electron on X-ray, already I have told you, limitation is there, particular electron beam. Since the charge particle penetration is low. So that's why it is good for the surface treatment, very good for surface treatment. But suppose you want to have a bulk density product, then electrons become, using electrons become issue. So, but as far as the throughput is concerned, since dose range is very high, dose rate is very high, that's why it can penetrate very nicely. And that's why you can give the very good throughput, but penetration is very low because the charge particle. Coming to the X-ray, X-ray, by this problem of electron can be well addressed by converting into X-ray. So X-ray is as good as by nature is similar to gamma rays, electromagnetic radiation. So the penetration issue is solved, but conversion efficiency is very, very poor. So for all those things, what type of radioisotopes or radiation sources should be used? Primarily the cost-driven process, and how the process can be made cost effective. That type industry has to look into that. But commercially, worldwide, I will tell you, over 60 based radiation source facilities are maximally used and followed by the electron beam. Now many companies are coming with the electron beam based irradiators for the various applications. Now next, coming to the details of that, I want to ask one question. Food irradiation do we really need? Success or failure of any technology will depends on the requirement. So first question we need to ask whether we really need food irradiation or not. I will give some data here. This is worldwide production of cereals, spices, and fruits and vegetables. In rice, India is the second largest producer in the world. In the case of wheat, also we are the second largest producer. In the case of spices, basically you can say more than 99% of the production happens in India. In the fruits and vegetables, also we are the second largest producer after China. This data is from USDA. Now coming to the global hunger index. In the rank of 118 countries, our rank is 97. So now the questions you can yourself ask, why this contradictory situation? At one point, we are telling our harvest is very good, but other side, we are very poor in the global hunger index. That should not be. What is the reason for that? And so we need to give a thought to it. Why this is happening? Not only this, you know that India is agriculture dependent country, and from independence we have progressed almost all sectors. Now engineering sector, you can say development sector, like many sectors we have developed like anything. But coming to agriculture, the red line you see, although countries have developed on many more fronts, but in the agriculture sector, our contribution of agriculture sector and GDP has gradually come down. This data is from Planning Commission of India. So this is a very surprising, or you can say sad part of this thing, because the main backbone of our whole economy is agriculture. But still around 60-70% population of the country thrives on agriculture. But if agriculture is not contribute to the GDP, then this is again a matter of concern, and we need to think over that. Why this is happening? Now, so what is the reason? So this primarily I will give this is data from FAO. In the case of food grains, we have around 30% losses. In the case of horticulture producer, fruits and vegetables, around 40% losses. So these losses happen at different level, starting from farm practices, storage, packaging, cold chain, transportation, processing, retail, and consumer. So losses happen. Our primary losses, particularly for the horticulture produce, is happening at this process: storage, packing, and cold chain and transportation. They are even a certain level at farm. So there our losses are huge. Even storage losses are huge for, like you can say, the food grains like cereals and pulses. Losses are huge. If you see any storage go down of FCI and others, or so many times you have the photographs on the net, etc. You see the huge quantum of produce is lost. It is not only loss of the grains or the produce, but when you talk about the agricultural loss, it is lost. Many indirect losses are happening from the labors, the water and fertilizer, what all you can think of. So many things are indirectly lost. It's not loss of only grains or agriculture produce, but losses of many things are involved. So that's why this huge losses is affecting our economy drastically, and you can see the condition of our population or individual in the country. So that's why this, and that's why you can see the two sides of coin, which I have shown you, that although our produce is very huge, but our global hunger index, our situation is worse. So that is the primary concern. So we need to think of control the losses. And besides, food safety is also important issue. But I will thank to the way of cooking, or you can say pattern of having food in our country. We always, most of the foods are being cooked and then consumed. So that takes care of the food safety to the greater extent. But many things, the raw produce, like coriander leaves, etc., which is being consumed many times in salad, etc. That time foodborne outbreaks could be an issue even for the partially cooked or roasted flesh food, etc. So their foodborne outbreaks become another issue of food safety. So what irradiation processing of food can do? It can eliminate bacteria, pathogens, insects, and other undesirable organisms, and it can reduce the food losses and ensure food safety. Besides, it can control the physiological changes leading to decay in certain foods, like delay in fruits ripening, like in case of mango and tomato, a sprout inhibition in case of potato, onion. I'm coming to all this later on. Then in overcoming the quarantine barrier of trade, now this overuse of pesticides become an issue of concern for many agriculture-based countries. And now they don't want to have pest along with the commodity coming to their geographical domain. So they want to restrict to the pest at the time, the place of origin only. So for that, quarantine is a very, very important issue. And and that's why this radiation has been approved as a phytosanitary treatment by many developed countries. I will come to detail further to overcome the quarantine barrier of trade. So these are the applications of the radiation process. Just one photograph summarizing the things, then I will come to detail on that. So like you see in the case of cereals and pulses, you can keep if you irradiate in the pack condition and you can go for more than 1 year. The quality is well retained. In the case of spices too, microbial decontamination takes place by radiation processing, and also the quality is retained. So most of the facility today in the country, they are using radiation processing by spices to cater the need of importing country. In the case of potato and onion, a sprout inhibition is, but I will tell you again, I am coming to the further on detail. A sprouting is not the prime cause of a spoilage of onion and potato. And this year we all have witnessed the huge price rise in the case of onion, potato, and tomato, all of it, almost a major part of the year. So now the primary reason I will tell you, the demand supply imbalance is the one concern. That's why the price is not being regulated in the market. And why so happens? Again, the supply, because if you don't keep the product in the good condition for a longer period, your supply is going to be affected. So sprouting or rotting, many combining event happens leading to the spoilage of onion and potato. So their radiation can play a very major role. Even if you potato in the cold storage, they take it out, it sprouts hugely. But if you irradiate, the quality is maintained and you can keep for the longer at the higher temperature. And onion, major issue that we don't have onion specific cold storage. I will come to that. So and then you can preserve it for longer time. And then many times when calamity happens, we don't have a proper food to supply to the our population. So their radiation can also assure to give a safe food, because the person who is in distress, they want to have a good food, healthy food, and that's why radiation can play a very good role here. I will show some of the examples. Besides, already I have told about the overcome quarantine barrier of the trade. So like for pomegranate or mango, and even for tomato, if you want to export to certain countries, we have to irradiate it. And then flesh food also, like shrimp, etc. Their safety can be assured and self-life when we extend the radiation process. So the benefits of food radiation already I have told. Again, sharing some of the photographs. So you see the wheat sample. Left side is the control and rice, and right one of the right panel is the irradiated one. The quality is well retained for a very, very long time. And here you don't require a very specialized storage. If you have hygienic storage condition and ambient temperature, one can keep this product to very nice. We have interaction with FCI recently. They store around 700 million tons of agri-produce, primarily wheat, every year. We are in touch with them to adopt food irrigation technology for their commodity, and they are very much agreed to that point, and they are going to start at least part of the commodity, because 700 million tons is a huge quantity. So they cannot do everything at one go, but they are planning to start the facility soon or establish facility soon for their produce. So in principle, they have agreed, they have understood the importance of the technology. And same thing for the milk products like rava and besan, etc. And you can keep the shelf life, generally we tell 1 year, but you keep it pack condition, you can go beyond that also, there is no issue. But I will tell you, what is the solution? What FCI doing? We have the chance to visit the Mumbai, they have the Western zone is there, and we have gone to their facility and seen there what they are doing, or even most of the other agencies, they are using fumigations. And it will surprise to know they use aluminum phosphide and malathion in a good concentration, and not only one time, they do for 3-4 times during the storage period. On all we know that these chemicals have the residue, leave the residue in the food. So literally what we are consuming, and these are most of these chemicals and banned by WHO, because they produce, they affect the environment, they affect the health. Many of these chemicals, they produce carcinogenic compounds. So they have been banned. But since there are no proper alternate to them, they are bound to do that. Otherwise, what way they can preserve the commodity? If you don't do fumigate and keep the samples in the asset, after 2.5 months, it is going to be badly damaged. But now the technology is there. We need to adapt it, and government of India is also supporting. Now they are asking FCI to go ahead with that, setting of such facility and switch over gradually from fumigants to the safer technology like radiation. I will give some examples. So recently, after FCI meeting, they have a certain concern about the packaging, etc. So we did, this is a 5 kg pack size at FTD. Top one in the irradiated sample, control sample, down one is the irradiated left side, the wheat one. You can see the irradiated sample looks very perfectly all right, even after close to 5 months storage. Right side the same, you can see the condition of grain here. The top one is the control, non-irradiated one, and down one is the irradiated one. Irradiated one, you can see the quality of grain is well retained, and it is absolutely right, as good as the fresh one. So, but if you do the fumigation, you have to do 3-4 times, and then you have the issue of health and environment. Same thing, it is the pulses also the similar condition is there. NAFED is storing a lot of pulses, and NAFED did some experiment with the pulses last year, and they are going to implement this in the bigger way, because they have been assigned by government for storing pulses and money, etc. So now they have a very good confidence in the technology, and they are going to take the technology ahead. And similar way, you can see the pulses here also, the chana dal. Left one is the control and right one is irradiated. You can see the powders due to the insect damage. And the dose what you require is very less. The minimum of 650 gray is good enough to take care of all these pests. And the bottom one, you can see the non-irradiated one, the right one is the irradiated one. And see how the quality of the grains are retained. The same way spices, I think this technology well established for spices, and many countries across the world are using spices, and for ensuring the safety as well as the quality of the produce for the longer period. Now coming to the vegetables, potato is fine. Still, although our Krisak plant, I will show you the photographs later on, was established somewhere very early in 2002 and so. And that initial name was poton, that is for potato and onion. But later on, still the potato and onion irradiation is not successful. I will not say or not deployed to the greater extent in the country, which the potential it had. The reason I will tell you why so. For coming to one by one, for potato, of course the radiation is very good. After irradiation, you can keep 12 to 15 degrees Celsius temperature. So that maintains, and it does not make it sweeter, and then sprouting does not happen even once you take out. Hello.
So you can continue.
No, go ahead.
Okay, okay. Then so we can keep for longer period, close to around 6 to 8 months. Potato can stay. Now we have done just to deploy this technology bigger way. We have signed the MOU with one private firm, and just few days back we have stored 30 tons of potato, and now we are going to irradiate it. Now, what are the practical bottlenecks? Like we cannot irradiate potato immediate after harvest. We have to keep it for 2 weeks at around 16 degrees Celsius for curing. Curing is the process. When you harvest the potato, the skin is very thin. So that time a lot of contaminations are possible, like fungal contaminations. So we need to allow the potato to sourize. And this sourization temperature is around 16 degrees Celsius. So we have kept at around 30 tons of potato at MSAB Vasi just a few days back, 2 to 3. And we are going to irradiate it after 15 days when the sugarization is done. And the sugarization is working perfectly nice. So now what is the bottleneck? We require a cold storage coupled with the fluoridation plant so that you can keep potato there. And after 2 weeks of storage, one can irradiate it. If we don't have this facility, potato irradiation will not become successful. So we need a comprehensive, you can say, system where potato can be stored and then irradiated. And then if you have the cold storage far away from the irradiation point or harvest point, then transportation cost will add. So the system should be at one place where you after harvest, you keep the potato there, irradiate, and then you store wherever you want. So that's why potato irradiation should have not come, had not come yet the way it should have. So we have pointed out these things to the government. So now most of the the irradiation facility by MOFP now I put in the cold chain program only. So with the cold chain irradiation facility comes, this become very good for the perishables like potato, onion. And coming to onion, why onion prices are fluctuating every alternate year or so? Because and we cannot keep onion in the cold storage, which is meant for potato. You know what is the reason? Onion is a commodity which does not tolerate high humidity. Like potato can tolerate high humidity. If you put potato even 2 degrees or 3 degrees Celsius, where humidity is 95%, relative humidity 95%, so potato does not have any issue. But onion has. Onion will sprout if you keep it very high humidity. So for onion, relative humidity required for storage around 60 to 65%. So that's why the cold storage currently available in the country is not suitable for onion. Now in the country, we have the cold storage of around 20,000 metric tons, which is suitable for onion storage. Now this year, last year, NAFED did this experiment with around 500 tons of so onion. The results were very successful. And now this year, they are going to do in a very big way. All the cold storage probably NAFED is going to almost they have booked it. And one of the meeting we have the cabinet secretary. That time the NAFED person, Minister of Consumer Affairs, they told that they are very satisfied with the onion irradiation result. And now this year they are going to implement for most of the food irradiation, cold storage meant for onion they have. So that, and not only that, we are going to make a cold storage at Kursak Lasalgaon. That will be completed by March 2022 when our 75th years of Indian Independence Day is going to be celebrated, especially for onion. So and that capacity is going to be 250 metric ton. So that already financial approval, everything, work are in place for. Now coming to the tomato. Ripened tomato, if we irradiate, is not going to help much. So for tomato, we have to irradiate in the unripe condition. And then you can keep for around close to 2 months. So at least for 2 month lean period, one can, and it ripens. It not likely not ripen. After that, it ripens soon. So it can assure the ability for at least 2 months. So and onion, I forgot to tell, onion can go up to 8 months. So that is the story. Not only related to potato, onion, tomato, the technology is very good for other commodities. Now many green vegetables like broccoli, the chlorosis happens quite often after irradiation, after harvest. But you irradiate it, you can keep for close to a month. So that way it can help other. Even mushrooms, the button opening can be stopped by irradiation. Now coming to the export of the mango. Many of you are aware that India is exporting mango from 2007 and till now. Last year we could not do because COVID issue was there. But before that, before 18 years it was banned. So Indian mango was not going to US. That is the scenario. Now you can ask why quantum is comparatively low. So we have around 10 million tons of mango production in the country today, but we are doing around 1,000 metric ton or 1,000, we can say 1 million metric ton. So the quantity is very, very less. Reason is that although we have around 21 food irradiation plant functional in the country, I will come to that. So the list, but in that only three food irradiation plants. One is Kursak, other is MSMB Vasi, and third is Innova. They are the low dose food irradiation plant who can where the mango can be irradiated. And the high dose capacity you cannot control conveyor speed, etc. So there mango irradiation is not possible. So we require low dose food irradiation plant for that. And then primary next, if somebody, I think Pankaj is available, probably he is dealing with the mango irrigation, etc. Probably you may be knowing also, because many times like the US inspector, presence of US inspector is must in the food irrigation plant during irradiation. And his working hour is 6 to 8 hour and 30 minutes or so. So in his absence, mango can be irrigated. So that becomes a limiting factor. So basically, whatever throughput we have, become 1/3 of that. So if you run the same facility for 24 hours, then our quantum can go 3 times high. So these are certain, you can say, administrative gaps or lacunae where we have proposed these things to the government to take care of this and have some sort of negotiation with the US government or some sort of third-party inspection or something like that, so that this issue can be resolved and our throughput can directly go for the 3 times at least with the current existing facility only. And now Gujarat agro plant is also coming. So now we have the 4 plants which can irradiate mango. Now, what is the issue again? This air freight, below the mango we are exporting through the air, and that is very huge cost. Farmers are getting 0.29 USD per pound of the mango, and the transportation or air freight is 1.24 USD. So almost 5 times of that. So that is a huge cost, and that's why many industry has demanded that can be sent through the sea. Now, what is the gap there? Suppose you want to say through sea, the transportation time, voyage time is more. So probably we have to extend the shelf life, then only possible to send through the sea. So for that we did one experiment. We modified this protocol a little bit in the existing USDA protocol. Now by using some food preservative, surface wash, etc. Now we can extend the shelf life up to 35 days. Suppose you want to send to the US, it requires 23 days of the voyage period. So it is possible to send through the sea. Now this protocol, next we approached USDA and they approved this protocol. The protocol has been approved by USDA. And this year we are targeting, we have a MOU with a private firm located in Gujarat. So now we are targeting 1 container of 10 ton to Malaysia and 1 container to USA through sea route. If a US inspector comes, then US will be possible, else Malaysia can certainly go. So this we are going to start. The MOU has been almost signed. And in the May 1st week, probably we are going to do 2 container shipment. And whatever the protocol we have done, all are the chemicals we have used approved by FSI, Codex, UFCFDI. This is just a surface wash, European Union. And finally, USD has approved our this new SOP. So the approval part is on. This is the Kursak plant where mango is being irrigated. Beside many other commodities are located in Lasalgaon, Nasik. Now, beside many other commodities also we have done where irradiation is primarily required only as a quarantine, but there is some other issue. Suppose you talk about the lychee. Lychee primary concern is become brown after harvest. So first thing we have to keep its quality in the good quality, and then only irradiation other thing can be possible for export, or even if we maintain the quality good for the domestic market, because there is a huge gap at the cost at the point of harvest and the point of sale. So suppose in Bihar or other places, lychee are being sold at cost of 30 rupees or 40 rupees per kg at the time of harvest. As in Maharashtra, we see the case of Chiku. Chiku is also facing the similar problem, but at Mumbai, the same thing is facing almost 5 times or 6 times of the cost. So major is that if you maintain the quality, then transport is then possible. So we have developed a protocol here long back, and then commissioned a plant at Muzaffarpur, that is ICR Institute, where in there with MOU with them, we commissioned in their area. They are doing operation and maintenance of this plant, and this plant can process 1 ton per hour of the lychee. So this is surface wash only. The technology has been transferred to the 40 private firms, and even Madagascar has taken this technology. Here again the lacunae is there. Lacunae, or I will tell the requirement is there. Till processing, our things are absolutely right, no issue. Now we need to maintain the cold storage, and like onion, lychee also cannot tolerate high humidity in the pack condition. And if you don't pack, fungal contamination will come. So in pack condition, we require a cold storage where relative humidity around 60 ambient, like 60 to 65%. So we have made two cold storage also there. So now we are processing, but now transportation, we require a reefer container where the humidity is maintained. Surprisingly, most of the reefer containers runs at very high humidity and very low temperature. So that's why transportation. So we are planning to have a specialized reefer container, make and do park there only, and the season we should start demonstrate transportation. Otherwise, at the point of harvest, price is almost similar. Then selling become difficult. So these are some. I will tell you some commercial gaps we need to fulfill if we want to make any technology viable in the field. And it cannot be done in isolation. We have to take a very comprehensive overview of that. Now we know that many agriculture produce, they are producing bulk, like banana and mango. We are the largest producer. Now, what to do if the surplus production is there? So we convert this product in a secondary product or value-added product, and then you can keep for the longer time. But unfortunately, in India, our processing is very less, around 2.2% or so. The developed countries like US and others, they have a processing of 16%. So this 16%, that can, what the question I raise you, the contribution of agriculture is going down in GDP because we are primarily focused on the primary product. We are not targeting the secondary product. We target the secondary product. Now, how much we pay for potato chips or banana chips, and how much farmers get for the raw potato and banana, we all know that. So how much processing can do the value addition? Now here additions, we have come out with many products like from a strawberry or jamun or even a different mango, banana, pineapple, where after processing by different mechanism or a simple IR drying or osmo blanching, you can come out with a product retaining its quality attributes, and then you pack and irradiate it. You can keep for a longer period. So then quality is assured. Safety is also assured. Same thing for the different products like sprouts also. Here again, if you see the many sprouts are available in the retail shop, in the malls, etc. But what is the shelf life? Very poor, almost 2 to 3 days. But some hurdle technology, including radiation processing, you can certainly keep maintain the keeping quality for the longer period, around 3 weeks or so. So that is again controlling the spoilage, assuring the safety, and giving the industry a good chance. Then probably 10-15 days you can transport wherever you want. You are not bound to keep at that place of your processing. So those are even for the sweet corn kernels. You know that many fast food producers that you use, and not only that, even like many big companies like McDonald's and Subway and Domino's, they are using the cut vegetables for the fast food preparation like pizza, etc. And we have interaction with them. They throw it after 5 days if they are not being consumed. So we applied this for irradiation. This is the white onion and capsicum and the tomato. And again, you can keep for the longer period after irradiation processing. So you are controlling losses, assuring safety. Now, but all these things need to be integrated in our chain. That is very, very important. And not only that, many other commodity or like convenience product or ready-to-cook product were also can be retained for the good numbers of days or many days by radiation processing through extending the shelf life. So you can see some of the photographs here like French beans, asgard, drumstick, pumpkin, cabbage, cauliflower, etc. Now coming to the flesh foods, shrimp, it is a highly nutritious thing. But left one, you can see the semi-dried shrimp available in the local market. The right one, that has been done after radiation processing. Here moisture content is also high. So palatability is good. And then storage life is better. The rehydration capacity is also better. So here and many industries have taken this same technology to apply. So that is on the way. And now some certain newer products have been developed at FTD, like fish soup powder, etc. So this is giving a variation in your cooking items, or you can say options to the consumer, but ensuring the safety and a better shelf life. Now, as I already told you, this food for the calamity victim, we have developed certain products I'm giving one example here, but we have many more products developed at FTD. And we have transferred or distributed at the time of flood and landslide in Himachal Pradesh. And not only that, many times people don't accept the aerated food. We didn't agree to that, because once we given to the Office of Deputy Commissioner of Himachal Pradesh, they send next year again request letter to us. Kindly also provide, we giving a thank note to us. So, and same thing we have given last year to Bihar. So, if you make them aware, tell about the fact, you would like to have it. So, this is just a misconception, I will tell you, or misconceived notion. Coming to the wholesomeness, nutritional education and safety, already have explained, I think, most of the things. Radioactivity, there's no question of induction of radioactivity, because it's well controlled by the approved sources and design of the facility, energy level, etc. So no induction of radioactivity happens. Many times people ask, if you radiate, microbes can become more virulent, more pathogenic. But answer is no, because none of the study has shown this type of events happening. Many times people ask, okay, radiation can induce something very different. I will ask you, suppose you are irradiating a carbohydrate or using a starch, what will happen? Probably depolymerize to the simpler oligos or monos, like lactose, maltose, or you can say the glucose. So, and that will happen in our digestive system also. When you take the food, cell can take in the simpler form of nutrient only, amino acids or sugar. It cannot take complete protein as such. So, hydrolysis do happen in our system. Similar thing, radiation also does. So, what question comes of any unique radioactive product? So, it is it is the energy which breaks down the covalent bonds. That is a part of the system which we also encountered. The digestive system we have that does the similar type of thing. So, vitamin losses people tell you. Suppose any type of heating we do, also certain losses are there, but radiation does not leave any induced, you can say, unique losses to vitamins. And in the US and China and in India also. So no adverse effect. 60 countries have approved for. And now one example, like suppose mango from 2007 till date. If India is exporting mango to USA, none of any adverse cases has been reported. Otherwise, US says everything is very well documented. Any negative thing happens, they will first going to stop it. So none of the questions have happened, and not only from India, from all other countries across the globe. So we have not noticed or heard of single cases happening so that irradiated food has been banned by any country. Not taking other things is your individual's notion or individual thing, or but it is not any country has banned irradiated food. This is not the case. Throughout the world, I am telling. European Union is accepting little slowly, but even they have not banned any food. Now, so it is approved by WHO, FAO, IE, and FSSI, and then FSSI has gone further ahead. They have put a guidance note to make the consumer aware irradiated food is safe. And not only this, after having all those things, that's why government of India has given a class-based approval. So initial approval in 1994 and later on 1998 and so, it was for few items. And but now it has given a blanket approval. You can see the all food has been put in 8 classes. You think of one, probably all will come in one or other classes, but different objective. So basically, government regulations have completely backed the technology, understanding its potential. And same thing for packaging material, food, health food, supplements, etc. This is the current list of food irradiation plant in the country. We have 21 food irradiation plant in the country, and the numbers are gradually increasing. I will tell you by 2024, we are going to have 14 more plants. They are under construction stage or different level of MOU, etc. So by 2024, we are going to have 35 food irradiation plant. As on today, if more MOUs are signed or more agreements are signed, the numbers will go further up. And government is still supporting with subsidy, etc. for having more plant. This is the distribution of the food irradiation plant. Primarily, plants are concerned in Maharashtra. Like mostly plants are in the Maharashtra and you will take Gujarat, but now it is also coming to the different parts of the country. Delhi area also some plants are there, but we need to have almost, I will give you one data how much we require. So this is the throughput. I will come to that. This is the throughput of one plant. Many times I ask, suppose you have one plant, how much processing you can do. So for rice and wheat and pulses, you run for a facility for 10 months, you can have around 90,000 for a 1,000 kCi facility. We can have like 90,000 tons annually processed. As same with onion, potato. So these are the figures. Electron beam magnetic throughput is high. So one can process a good amount. Now, this is one data. Many times, how many plants we require? We have like this is for our planning commission Niti Aayog discussion. We have like suppose you want to cater 10% of Indian population. And as you show the data of FAO, we have 30% losses in case of wheat, rice, and pulses, around 40% of the perishables like potato, onion. If you want, just control these losses. Just control the 30% or 40% losses we have. That is to feed 10% of Indian population. Forget about 90%. We require 137 food ration plant in the country, as I told you. So even I'm just emphasizing this, just to feed 10% of the population, and whatever losses 30-40% is happening, we want to preserve those losses. Our number of food ration plant required in the 137. So many times people ask, what is the rated food in the market? Most of the plants all are running 24/7. We are witnessing that. Many of you have witnessed that. Most of them are bidding for the high cost commodity, mostly for export, etc. That's why we don't have food available in the domestic market. Because if you want to have the visibility, probably numbers of plants required much more. And that's why we could not have the visibility in the domestic market. It is not the question consumers are rejecting, nothing like that. Because consumers, unless you give them, how you can tell that consumers are rejecting? It's not fair. Now coming to the space and manpower requirement, we require 1.5 acres of land to have a food ration facility, and for running a facility, we require 9 to 50 personnel. This is just some technical details. This is some old data, some 6-7 years old. But I will tell you this has to show you many Asian countries. Primarily Vietnam is doing a lot for food irradiation. Thailand, Philippines, everyone is doing. Now Malaysia, this year, Malaysia is going to take only irradiated food from the most of the part of the world. And India also, you have asked only irradiated mango to come. So we are planning to set one container, and many more people. If US inspector does not come here, then going to probably export to the Malaysia. So Malaysia is going to come. US is doing a lot for food irrigation. We already have shown you this is older data. Now advantage, I already have told you, just to count again. It is very excellent alternative for chemical fumigants that can protect our health and environment both. It's a cold process. So like other any energy dependent process, it does not increase the temperature of the commodity. It maintains the sensory quality. We have witnessed from last 50 years, more than 50 years of a study at FTD, and across the globe people have done. It does not affect the sensory at the recommended dose, and we do all R&D to maintain the sensory quality of the product, and that's why the dose has been decided. It maintains the texture, nutritive value, and appearance of food. Does not produce any toxic residue in the food. This is a very important part. That one we need to understand. It is not limited to any toxic residue. The grains or which other things we are procuring in the market, I will tell you more than 90% of the grains, if you are not using fresh, they are fumigated or all have residues. If you want, you are free to check it or analyze it. So most have the fumigants as a residue, but irradiation does not leave any toxic residue in the food. Then it can be done in the pre-packed condition. And then it is very efficient technology. One technology can, I have already given an example, you can address many issues. And it's eco-friendly treatment because it's a physical energy. It is a physical energy, so it does not have any bad effect on the environment. And it can fulfill many objectives. But there are certain limitations. It's a need-based technology where you require. Success or failure of any technology depends on the need. If you require, it can be used. Not suitable for all foods, I will tell you. Like suppose like milk, etc., where the fat, you require very specialized condition of irradiation, like frozen condition, sorry, or other thing. But for milk, pasteurization is very well established technology. So there is no need where you have established technology, go for alternate technology. We are telling for cereals, pulses, and other things where fumigants is a technology which is being used, but is not good for health or environment. There we need to switch over to technology which is a green technology for as per the our. Now, what is the reason why cancer incidence is going very high in India? Many things, and I will tell you surprising. Fumigated products are not labeled at all. Not labeled at all. You cannot diagnose or see any products is fumigated. But irradiated product has the value logo right on that. So that's the thing. So it cannot make bad food good. That is a part of GMP for any food processing, and it can be used for as per FSI Act. But I will tell you, now FSI Act is almost allowed for all community. It cannot be effective against some viruses. Probably in that case, probably combination with heat is required. Now, how to know food is irradiated? It is not a symbol of any alarm, etc. It is a symbol of value. People should know that food has been irradiated if you want to prefer. So this is the symbol of value addition, that is called RADURA, which is being internationally used. And this is the process how we want to set a facility, irradiation facility. If somebody interested, required to have a land, that land has to be approved by ERB, site selection, I will tell you. Then one needs to have a MOU with the BRIT, who can supply the cobalt-60 BRIT and BRC. And then you go for the inviting the quotations from, we have the 3 licensee in the, we have DA licensee who manufacture irradiation plant. You can opt any of them as per your wish. And then if you want the government support, etc., there is a mechanism for that. One can always approach. And then after having all the approval, plants will commission and this. Coming to the cost of the setting of irradiation plus facility, for a cobalt-60 plant, it costs around 16 crores. And for electron beam, depending on the different energy level, it will be 22 to 30 crores. And then OM cost is all the value is also given. It's 441 lakhs for the cobalt-60 and around close to 642 and 887 lakhs for the electron beam irradiation facility. And economics again, for success and failure of any technology, economics is very important. So radiation processing most applicable when the products have a large base established market, so that economic success of extended shelf life does not necessarily depend on changing consumer food buying habits. So market has to be there. High spoilage losses at present. So that is very important. High prices so that spoilage losses are incentive to incur the relative modest additional cost of radiation processing. When industry has adequate production in a single location. So the point of harvest, point of treatment, these are the things, consideration, very important for a successful deployment. A stable production, so that plant should have product throughout the year to treat. But I will tell you, most of the plant, as on today 21, they are running 24/7. That's the news we have from them. And that is very encouraging. And what is the proof for that? I will tell you. One of the plant owner, they are taking all the plants of the government on the lease. It means if they are in loss, why they will take other plant on lease? And not only that, many are making 2 second or third plants. So it means that indirectly evidence that they all are in benefits, running so very nicely. That's why they are growing, and that is good also. The economic justification is required. Company and organizations that are receptive to and interested in new processes, that should come. Consumer acceptance, already I have told you many things, is the awareness, and I don't want to blame consumer at first, because unless you give the option, why to blame consumers? So consumer, mango is accepting by consumers in USA and many other products. So consumer, I will not agree to that. Consumers are not accepted or ready to take it. This is not the fact. Basically, we need to give advantage, offer the product to the consumer, and probably they will like to have it. With this thing, I thank you all for patience, hearing, and attending this webinar. Thank you very much. I again thank Dr. Lele, the organizer of the event, giving me a chance to share the R&D carried out by BRC by all my peers and my colleagues and younger generation to benefit of the society through application of nuclear energy. Thank you all again.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gautam. So I have a couple of questions. So a private player can also set it up with help from BRC?
Yes, sir. I will tell you, we have the 4 plants, 2 by the government of India, 1 to Vasi, RPP Vasi, Radiation Processing Plant Vasi, and then the Krushak, that is by the DAE, and 2 plants, 1 by Gujarat government, and by Maharashtra government, and 17 plants are the private players. So as on today, 17 plants are being run by private players.
Okay, thank you. So there is a question. It says, can the plant be designed for multi-products?
Yes, sir. Now most of the plants are being designed for multi-purpose, multi-product, because now what they do, basically they attenuate the source there only. So suppose you want to give low dose, then you attenuate it, and if you want to give high dose, then probably go for the complete plant. So now design is that like that, because to make availability or make a successful deployment throughout the year, you have the seasonal products. So you cannot rely upon one product for throughout the year. So one has to go for the you can say different types of products so that plants can be best utilized. When even you are not using, the walls will keep on decaying, so they will lose. So for throughout the year running operation, the most of the plants nowadays are coming on multi-purpose soil.
There's a question: has there been any study to establish that irradiated food does not lead to loss of nutritional value?
Yes, sir. Many studies have been done, and not only India, across the globe. And after this only, this approval has been given by WHO, FAO, even our FSSI. So this study, if we go and try to search the papers, you get thousands of papers on that. Even whenever we recommend any dose, we go for the nutritional analysis and then only we recommend the dose. So this is a part of our R&D. Unless we are satisfied that nutritional and safety is assured, we will not recommend the dose for, and that's why this FSI approval is also linked to that. So that nutritional adequacy is maintained because the energy, why I'm telling you, the energy which cobalt 60 or CG is very 1.17 or 1.13, like 1.25 average million electron volt energy there. That energy not very high to destroy the nutrients. The energy is not very high. So that's why, and besides, the matrix of the food, I will tell you, the food has the very different protectant like proteins or many other that itself work as a very good, I will say, micro environment to protect any nutritional damage to the community. So that's why the food micro environment itself is work as a very good protectant for any sort of nutritional loss due to any radiation damage or radiation treatment or any other process. I will tell you, the food is a very healthy micro environment it has, so that works very nicely. Even when radicals are produced, they are well established by the antioxidant present in the food, so that does not affect the nutritional loss.
Okay, thank you. So typical applications is what? In spice industry, seafood,
Yes,
onions?
everywhere. Cereals and pulses, I will tell you. Wheat, then pulses, then you have the fruits and vegetables, onion, potato, I have given an example. Then spices also, flesh foods like shrimp, etc. So almost most of the commodity irradiation is a very wider application.
Okay. And there are a few more questions. One is, what is the penetration potential of the radiation in bulk bags?
For gamma radiation, the penetration is very good. You can penetrate around 60 centimeter or so for the 1000 kci source strength if you have. For electron beam, penetration is limiting, around 10 centimeter, 9 centimeter probably it can penetrate if you do both side irradiation. So those type of things, suppose you increase the energy level of this thing, then probably it can be taken care of. If you convert electron to the X-ray, then issue of then X-ray has equal penetration like gamma ray. That penetration can be well resolved, but gamma, it can take care of the bulk density. That's not an issue. The penetration is a big issue for the gamma. It can take care of bulk density.
Okay. There's one more question. I think it's there are two parts to it, I believe, the way I look at it. It says we can irradiate foods or vegetables in packed conditions continuously. I guess the first part you have already answered, which is a packed conditions. I think it can obviously up to 60 centimeters. But is it a continuous process or is it a batch process?
No, I will tell you, it is a batch process. It is a batch process, not a continuous process. But I will tell you the next point for the grains. First thing I will tell you the pack condition of fruits and vegetables. Objective depends on for what purpose you are irradiating. Suppose you want to inhibit the physiological changes like a sprouting. You don't want to have then pack condition like potato and onion packaging is not required. There you can directly, because the purpose is different. They want to do inhibit the physiological process. So then unpacked food is okay. Suppose you want to irradiate for doing microbial decontamination or ensuring hygiene, then packaging is must. Otherwise, after treatment, infestation may happen, recontamination may happen. So for that type of commodity, then packaging is must. So that point one is, suppose I will tell you that, yes, for example, like cut capsicum or tomato or bell pepper, that onion that is used by the fast food preparation, their packaging is must. If you don't pack it, then it may get recontaminated. So, but for potato, onion, or even for mango, packaging is done as a paste-free net, so that paste should not enter again. But it's not a very sealed packaging sort of thing. It is a proper net of that. This is the first part. Second question, if I remember, that was related to.
First was can it be done in packed conditions and
The back part is
continuously?
okay. Next.
Yeah. And was continuously. So I guess this is a batch
Continuous
process.
part, continuous I will tell you. Most of the food processing plant are now running a batch rate. But when we have interaction with FCI, and then since you are using very huge amount of grains, like 700 millions, they have the annual storage. So that time they propose that batch irradiation is not practically very good for them because their quantum is huge. So then we discussed with one of the manufacturer, and he has come out with a design. So that huge amount of quantity are in Morande, they are keeping in silos. So what the concept has come out, like you have a silos where you keep the unprocessed product, and then from there through conveyor mode you could take, irradiate it and put in the next silo. So there the batch can go in continuous mode. That is primarily for the grains or pulses, and you can through the speed of conveyor etc. one can control the dose rate and depending on the source strength also. So that is practically possible. So now we are working on that continuous mode irradiation. Same thing now BRC has developed, and probably it will get commissioned in a few months. A prototype grain irrigator, I will tell you. Prototype grain irrigator has been established in BRC now. Source that is CGM based, and that source loading is only remaining. So there the operation has been put in the continuous mode. So for grains primarily the continuous mode is very much required because quantum is huge. So there we are working on that, and I hope in few years probably we have a successful continuous operator for the facility for the grain.
Okay, thank you. There's one more question. It's saying what could be the period of safety post irradiation? So I think the question is more about, I would say, shelf life of some of these products post irradiation.
So it depends on the commodity, I will tell you. It depends on the commodity. Particularly the packed food, it has a certain shelf life. I will give you the example for sprouts and minimally processed vegetables. It's around 3 weeks or so. Many commodity talk about the cereals and pulses. You can go more than 1 year. So, and thumb rule, you can say the product has a low moisture content or less moisture content, their life is bigger. If the fresh produce are perishable where the moisture content is high, their life is limited because their radiation dose we are using is quite meager or lesser amount, because finally for any energy, let's suppose we overcook the food, the taste will go back. Same thing applies for irradiation also. Suppose we over irradiate the product, that it will go back. Maybe taste point of the other thing. So that applies to any energy, it's not related to specific to irradiation. So that's why we have to optimize the how much radiation energy we have to give the product by maintaining all the quality, taste, etc. Because taste is the first quality which any consumer will like to have. So that's why the shelf life is fixed on that basis, that those which can maintain the sensory quality in well acceptable condition, and that dose how much shelf life we can give. That's why we decide the dose, that shelf life. So that's why the shelf life of commodity is the product specific. But for spices or cereal pulses, most I will say dry product, it can go more than 1 year, there's no issue. But perishables or having high moisture content, the shelf life is comparatively lesser. The shrimp have around 30% moisture content, one can go up to 6 months. So that is not.
Okay, thank you. And how is the fuel supply? So I guess cobalt 60 is assured for private plants.
We have surplus. That is not issue.
No, how is it assured for private plants? There's some kind of an MOU in place.
That's why you remember when I have shown you the last slide how to set up irradiation plant. So before that, the firm has to sign a MOU with the Britain BRC, and there this is assured. So the tri-party MOU is done to assure the supply of cobalt 60. So Brit will take care of that. If they don't have surplus, they will not sign the MOU. But we have surplus production of cobalt 60.
Okay, great. There is one more question. It says, is it possible to irradiate rice or wheat stored in silos/containers? If any special plant construction required?
Yes, a special plant. Since you are telling in silos, no, what will happen? See, silos, the storage is bulk. So, and now modern silos are coming. So what is basically done? you have to keep one silo for as a loading point where you can get your samples. Then you should have a continuous operator between these two silos, and from this the product will go in continuous mode in a hygienic environment to the next silos where the product will be irradiated and stored. So irradiation facility will be in between. Irradiation facility will be in between the two silos. One silo you have the unprocessed product, then you have a continuous mode, and then you irradiate and stored in another silo. So that's the concept now industry is working, and that's going to be started on the demand of FCI, because FCI has the same issue. They want to store a huge quantum, and if you go in batch mode, that limits the quantity. That's why this but still the plant is not functional in the country as on today. But we have the models ready for that, and probably I hope in coming probably 1-2 years, probably we should have at least 1 or 2 plants on that.
Okay, thank you. I think Mr. Surendra brings about a very good point. He says that sometimes irradiation leads to common man getting a misconception about the process. Is there any effort to use a different word rather than irradiation, such as pasteurization or sanitization or even ionization, which has a better tone to it than irradiation?
No, you are right. Cold pasteurization generally people tell for the irradiation, because it is like a pasteurization as you do for the milk, but here temperature is not increased. So cold pasteurization is quite commonly used with the irradiation. So that can be used, but only thing, since this terminology has been used has at a very huge scale from more than 100 years, so we cannot switch over everything. We can tell people in other way, but finally people will know that what actually it is. So what I am telling you, the changing naming may be okay, but besides that, telling the facts will be more important. Like we can ask the consumer itself, are you want to have a food with a chemical residue when it's subject to fumigation, you want to go for irradiation? What answer they give? So making the, instead of hiding, making better to have a proactive role, make them more aware of that. Because we cannot completely silent, because this is being used from more than 100 years back. So it is impossible to change whole information on irradiation and direct. Now onwards, we can tell it is cold pasteurization. But changing the terminology, besides changing the, I will tell the information, changing the attitude, or I will tell the awareness, I will tell you, is more important than just changing the terminology. So, and if we make the people aware, I don't have any second thought. I've given examples like now mango is going to USA. We have not faced any objection from any, from last 12 years or in a single point of time. People are waiting to have the mango from USA. We are getting call from them when your mango is coming. So I will tell you, this is not the question, and they know it is being irradiated. It is a proper stamping there, everything there, and still people are taking. So if you make people aware and tell the facts, I think that is better, because consumer has the right to know what the process has been done. So nothing wrong in that. Nothing wrong in that. We need to make it is a value-added product that we have to tell, and awareness, education, that is very, very important. Now I will told you the example. Fumigation, we all are consuming. I will tell you, if you really sincerely think of, I am giving you an example. If you, many of us are belonging to villages. If you are going to village, get some samples of wheat or rice from your farm and keep it in your kitchen. Where after 2 to 3 months, you can see a lot of bacterial spoilage, insect spoilage happens. But suppose same packed product you procure from the market, you can keep for 6 months, nothing happens. You know what is the reason for that? That is a concern. How they are all are fumigated, and that's why they are staying longer. So, but there's no labeling on that fumigation. We are considering this is very safe. We are consuming, but question is WHO, the agency which I approved irradiation, they have banned fumigation. So this is responsibility of not only one institution or one department. This is responsibility of all, you can say, educated people or who are working to make people aware of that. This is our common responsibility, not one man's responsibility, one institution responsibility. This is our common responsibility. We should know the fact. We all have a right to know the fact. And if we know the fact, we are convinced, it is our responsibility to make others convinced. So that is our motto actually, and that way we should work.
Okay, excellent. I think we had a great Q&A session also, and if anybody has any more questions, they can.
Excuse me, sir. Sir Gautam, sir, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
This is Dr. Manjula from Venkateshwara University, Andhra Pradesh, sir.
Okay, madam. Good evening. Nice
Good
to
evening. Thank you, sir. Sir, actually, whether irradiation is safely applicable for the value-added products like purees and other things in the industry, sir. Actually, when the seasonal foods are abundantly available in a particular season, instead of applying irradiation to the whole food like mango or tomato or something, the same irradiation application, whether we can also apply it to the products like purees or any kind of other products of that vegetable.
Sure. It can be done. It can be done.
Okay.
It can be done. But that only thing optimization we have to do. Suppose you want to do for puri, probably has to do in some cold condition or something, because puri has a little bit higher moisture content. And during irradiation or other things, should not get contaminated with the microbes from the environment. So that's why the irradiation has to be done in cold chain probably.
Yes, sir.
So that is possible, but it is possible to be.
Because that particular products are high in moisture content.
I know that. So that's why I'm telling you, the irradiation has to be done in the cold chain.
So that we can use as one of the hurdle, like
Yes.
other technologies.
Or otherwise, you can do in frozen condition. If you want to do, suppose you freeze at -18 or so, many this type of products are frozen, and then you put it in frozen condition. It will last,
Sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you. And I would suggest if anybody has any more questions, they can reach out to sir. Rakesh ji, you have a question?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, please.
Dr. Gautam, good evening. This is R.K. Pahuja from Vedic Oil, Delhi.
Yes.
In fact, I would like to know, oil seeds are also subjected to this kind of irradiation?
Good evening, sir. Actually, oil seed, I will tell you, when I have told you the limitations of irradiation, like there are certain limitations, like the food rich in fat. Because what is the mechanism of working of radiation? You work through the mechanism of oxidation. So where the fat-rich food, if you irradiate, then rancidity may develop. So for that, if you want to very specialize, probably one has to do under vacuum. So get rid of oxygen. The oxygen is one of the promoter of oxidation. So and then second thing, if you do a low temperature again, the process is slow down. So, but one has to optimize. I cannot assure it. One has to optimize for oil seed. If you want to oil seed, I am talking, not oil. You want to do oil seed, then probably one has to work out. But under vacuum condition and a low temperature condition, practically in principle it is possible.
You mean to say that the best type of packaging is vacuum packaging for oil seeds?
For oil seeds. No, so if you want
so that oxidation doesn't take place?
For vacuum packaging, there are the many packaging materials are there. They are impermeable to the gases. So those type of packaging one can try.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, I think we have gone over our scheduled time. So Diksha, can we?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would like to propose vote of thanks. Sincerely thanks to Dr. S. Gautam sir for your time and very informative and enlightening session. I would like to thank our support partners, AFST Mumbai chapter, Entra02, Net Program, and All India Processors Association. And thank you all the participants for attending today's webinar. I declare the session has ended. Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you very much.